Welcome to Tinker Tailor Gamer Scribe, and welcome to another installment of Finding Your Creative Outlet. This series is designed to introduce different ways to create and express through primers of basic information to get you started in various creative and expressive topics. This one is about coloring. I love coloring. It's the one activity nearly everyone has done at one point or another. Historically, coloring has been associated with being a kid's activity, but in more recent years, it has picked up as an adult activity as well. I usually try to break a topic down into general categories to demonstrate how the topic covers more than a single element. To this end, I've had to get inventive to keep the categories cohesive yet still understandable. No such problem with this one. The categories I will use are coloring media and coloring utensils. I'm using the term media to describe what you color on, and utensils for what you color with. Let's start with coloring media. There are thousands of coloring books out there, from activity books for the little ones all the way up to complex works of line art geared to adults. Of course, there are levels in between as well. Pete, Gayleen, and I are coloring pieces of a placemat set with a suggested age range of 3 to 99 years old. There's a wide range of subject matter as well. Pretty much anything you can think of is represented. Here are just a few. Whatever you might be interested in coloring can likely be found if you look, especially if you look online. Finding something to color is the easy part. Deciding what you want to color with can be much more complicated. For the sake of simplicity, I will group them into 4 sections: pens, pencils, crayons, and other. The thing that makes pens its own group is that they use ink. There are different types of pens, usually names for the type of ink they use or the effect the ink has. Gayleen is using marker pens on hers, while Pete went with gel pens. Marker pens have a penetrating ink that give nice, solid colors. They usually have a fiber pen head, giving you a bit of flexibility with line thickness. You have to be careful with markers, though. That penetrating quality means you likely won't be able to color what is on the other side. Gel pens work more like writing pens. The inks have good color and stick to the surface of paper more than soak into it. This allows gel pens to have effects in the ink, like metallics. Since they have a ball or roller type pen heads, they have nice consistency but lack the flexibility of fiber. Then there are fountain pens. Coloring is not their greatest strength, but some people do like using them. They can use a variety of inks and have great ability to change line width based on how you use them. I went with colored pencils. In my experience, they have the most diverse color selection without having to buy multiple sets from different brands to get a good set of shades of any one color. But please do not confuse my experience with reality. Aside from selection, I like how you can affect how vivid the color is by adding or relieving pressure. There are some different types of colored pencils, but those differences are for more seasoned users to worry about, not us beginners. Then there's the classic, crayons. Crayons are wax sticks with color in them. Are they the most elite form of coloring utensil? No, but they spark positive memories in most adults and are loved the world over by children. Crayons can have a very respectable shade selection, and they deliver consistent color to your piece with very little maintenance. Where pencils need to be sharpened constantly and pens have a tendency to clog, leak, or dry up, crayons don't really have these problems. They are also the cheapest to purchase as well, in most cases. I figured I would add this section just in case. Of course, you can color with utensils that are more traditionally used for making art, such as pastels or oil paints. I wouldn't, but I'm not everyone, and I don't want to leave out an option just because it isn't the one I wouldn't do myself. There are a lot of options, way too many to cover here, but I will sum it up as simply as I can. If you can use it to apply color to a paper-like surface, you can do coloring with it. Getting started is quite easy. Finding things to color is as easy as going to pretty much any store that sells books or magazines, toys, or crafts. You can even find pictures online that you can print yourself at home. Prices can vary depending on how you get the pictures, from a few pennies for a home printed one to $30 or more for a curated collection from a famous artist. Prices can also vary for utensils, from $1 for a box of crayons from your local dollar store to $70 or more on a large set of gel pens. Coloring can be much more than a creative or expressive outlet. Studies are starting to surface linking coloring with relieving the symptoms of stress and anxiety, depression, and PTSD. I can never stress enough how important it is to find something that can help to decompress. Coloring is a great one. It's a relatively inexpensive hobby to get into, and science is stacking up saying it can help relieve stress. Personally, I think this is so for two reasons. Firstly, it gives you something to focus on, and secondly, there are no real expectations of trying to impress others with your work. Having something external to focus on is very useful. It literally allows us to take our mind off of things that are pressuring us and get a little break from them. I'm not sure why this happens, but it's a fairly common belief that artists and the like create for other people, as though it's the praise of others that makes it worth doing. I'm sure that may be true for some, but for most creators it's about expressing themselves. Coloring is the gray area in between. Someone else created the art part of it, taking the worry of praise out of it, while leaving the expressive elements to the person doing the coloring. My advice to anyone looking at coloring as a creative and expressive outlet is this: if you're thinking about trying it, just try it. Get a book and some crayons and just have at it. And if it's not for you, you can donate the materials to a daycare or preschool. That way you can still feel good about it. That's all for this installment of Finding Your Creative Outlet. There will be links below to some resources and interesting information about coloring. Hopefully, you can find something in there to help get you started. Of course, doing your own searches will get you more personal results, so that is always recommended. Good luck, and happy coloring. Until next time.